What's happening, Jets fans? This is Green Bean back with a little tiny video for you. We are going to get into the defensive line, becoming somewhat of the pride of the team as it stands right now. Before we do, I want to remind you, you can do a really nice thing for the universe by hitting that thumbs up button. And if you want to get more stuff coming out of this channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I also want to remind you about Green Bean's Wayward Jets Fan Fund. There is a link in the description if you'd like to help us get Jets fans from around the country to their first home game ever. Go ahead, click on that link, throw $1, $100, $3, $27.50, whatever you want to do. Help us get these guys to the game. We have one already going to opening day. Travel and tickets. We're very close to having our second person coming. I think they're from Albuquerque. We're going to get these people to the game as long as we continue to have donations from people just like you. What a nice thing, huh? Get as many people to the game as we can. That all said, I want to talk to you guys about the defensive line. Robert Saleh had an interesting statement in his presser this week when talking about the defensive line. He was asked about Vinny Curry, specifically how he's coming around with his last year's medical issues and his training and his rehab. And it morphed into another statement where he was talking about the group as a whole. And listen to what he says here. It's really interesting.
You've got a lot of guys in that room, particularly some young guys you just brought in. How difficult of a road is that for them, particularly being hurt at the moment?
I think what's great about that group, I think we have, I made the comment the other day that I'll be shocked if every single one of those guys aren't on a 53-man roster. It's a really cool group of guys.
I wouldn't be surprised if every one of them made the 53. Well, let me go over who he's talking about here. We currently have 18 defensive linemen on the roster. 18. Let's run through it. Let's see who we got. Well, let's do it in alphabetical order. We start with Bradlee Anae, the player that we poached off Dallas's practice squad at the end of the season last year. We also have fourth-round pick Michael Clemens, who everybody likes that guy, right? We got Michael Clemens. Then we have Vinny Curry, the vet. We also have JFM, Bryce Huff, Jermaine Johnson, our first-round pick, Carl Lawson, who we're expecting great things from this year, sixth-round pick, Jonathan Marshall last year. And then we have recently signed free agent from the Texans, Jacob Martin. We also have Sheldon Rankins, Hamilcar Rashed, Nathan Shepard, who was re-signed this year, Tanzel Smart, Solomon Thomas, a guy that Saleh brought over from the 49ers. He played for Saleh for a few years there. Tim Ward, another poached player from the Kansas City Chiefs waiver wire. Quinnen Williams, and the world-famous Jabari Zuniga. So that is 18 guys. Now, when Saleh makes a statement like that, it's really hard to understand exactly who he's talking about. Clearly, we cannot keep 18 linemen on the active 53-man roster. We can't do it. Now, if we're talking about the practice squad, which, as we know, due to COVID, was expanded, and you can even keep veterans on there, so it's a totally different thing than it used to be, the practice squad. But even with the practice squad, let's say we keep 9 defensive linemen, and that will include the edge rushers on the end, and you have the interior defensive linemen. We're running generally a 4-down lineman defense. So you keep 9, maybe 10, okay, maybe 10. That would still leave you with 8 guys that you're trying to stuff on the practice squad. I really don't know how that's gonna work. That all said, we are hearing some very positive things coming out of the defensive line, which is such a double-edged sword in training camp. Like, you want to hear that Quinnen Williams is tearing it up in practice. But on the other end of Quinnen Williams tearing it up in practice, that means that either Laken Tomlinson, Elijah Vera Tucker, Connor McGovern, one of those guys is getting beat, which we do not want to see. Again, training camp is just such a weird one, but you can't help but feel positive with Quinnen Williams starting to come into his own. Very similar to Denzel Mims and Zach Wilson. Quinnen Williams seemed to have he seems to have benefited from the nutritional aspect of the offseason program that the Jets have in place. Quinnen Williams, he looks slender, he looks stronger, he looks, I'm going to use the word sleek. Why not? I'm going to call him sleek. He looks good. A lot of our players coming into training camp this year, they look good. And they're crediting this with the offseason program. As you guys know, Joe Douglas completely revamped every aspect of the medical, training, nutrition, and rehab departments, the whole thing. So we're starting to be able to see some results, some returns on the rebuilding of that side of the organization. So Quinnen Williams, hearing that he's doing great is fantastic. And we know that he's a lock for the roster. But there's no possible way that we're going to be able to keep all 18 guys. So let's take a little shot and see who I think may not make it. Okay, there's a couple that on the bottom end that it could be a little switcheroonie going on. I think that Hamilcar Rashed, who we do like but was an undrafted free agent, I think he's going to have a hard time. He was on the practice squad for most of last season. Let's see if he can make an impact. Tanzel Smart is another one, and Tim Ward in addition to Jabari Zuniga. As you guys know, I happen to like Jabari Zuniga. The guy can't stay healthy. This is just about the end of the rope for him. If he can't stay healthy for any extended period of time, he's going to probably be cut. So that's that. Tim Ward, they're very high on. Kansas City fans loved him. They were very upset that the Chiefs exposed him to the waiver wire and the Jets went and grabbed him. He had a couple nice plays last year in very limited playing time, but he's another one on the bottom end. So maybe even Jonathan Marshall. I mean, Jonathan Marshall was a 6th round pick, and the Jets basically took him with their final pick in that draft, the 2021 draft, because of his RAS score, because of his athleticism. Off the charts athleticism, but they're going to need to see something from him in order for him to kind of encroach upon Sheldon Rankin, Solomon Thomas, JFM, those types of guys. If he's going to make any movement on the inside there, he's going to have to show something this year. He might be on the practice squad as well. So what do you think, man? Who's going to make it? I do not agree with what Saleh says. I don't think he really knew what he was saying. I think we're going to keep all of them on the active 53-man roster. I just don't see it. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm sincerely curious. I'm starting to wonder about guys like Sheldon Rankins. Like, could one of the younger guys push him off the roster? What about Solomon Thomas? Is he a lock because he came from the Niners? I don't know. Let me know what you think. Guys, have a great day. And as always, skiggly ding ding.